public health, and the clinical spaces all come together to talk about the importance of and the promotion of community engagement across the state of Georgia. And just to close, we try and increase the capacities of community residents and academics to develop and extend research that addresses real issues towards real solutions. So certainly we look forward to you applying. And even if you are not successful or choose that this funding mechanism is not for you, the resources that I described are here to serve you. And we look forward to engaging you soon. So we will continue to monitor the chat. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen if I can. And if you have questions, actually, we can pause to answer any questions now while we pivot. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and we can proceed with the agenda. Melissa, you can put it back on the screen. So I think we have Gail McCrae that's going to talk next to just give a brief kind of history of the Grant Writing Academy and a bit of context surrounding how we've come to this idea, as well as some of the benefits of engagement and participation for people who've participated in the past. Gail? Make sure you take yourself off of mute.
I'm so sorry. You try to stay muted so you don't have interfering noise and then forget. But welcome everyone, and I'm so glad that you decided to join us this afternoon. It's so important that we have the community voice in all of these efforts to improve the health of community. And so one of the things, or some of the things that I wanted to try to do in my few minutes is to underscore the importance of your involvement, your engagement, underscore the importance of these grant writing training sessions, academies. So, you know, how can it benefit the community health? And so I would say, let me count the ways. The end user is the community, and community participation is most important. Yes, we need physicians. Yes, we need public health professionals. Yes, we need evaluators and bench and clinical researchers, but we do need community voices. You know best what works in your community. You may not be able to articulate it as well. You may not be clear about the question, or the research question, but you know that there's something wrong in the community, and developing partnerships and collaborations, knowing that those things are available as part of what these capacity building sessions are all about, and then the grant training as well. So not only community voices, but community actions are essential to achieving health equity and improving community health. So we all need grant training, grant writing training. It doesn't matter if you are in the academic session and you've written grants before, or if you're in the community and you've never written a grant before. It seems that grant writing training is always popular, whether it's a section of that, or trying to develop a budget, or trying to assess community, or creating logic models, or, you know, if you don't know any of those things, how do you do it, and how do you find the resources to do it? So again, those are some of the things that are included in this training. We've had several trainings, as Tabia mentioned, over the past 10 years. We've only had one grant writing academy that we're hoping that you will be a participant in this go round in 2018. And even if you aren't successful in getting a grant, you develop relationships, you're able to network, you develop partnerships and potential collaborations, but you also are able to appreciate better, I think, what research is all about and how important research is and how you apply that, and get people to understand why doing it one way versus another way, how that works and why that works, and how to present that evidence. So the agendas are usually created based on who's going to be in the sessions and how much experience you've had. So there's a basic agenda, but we do try to tailor things to the needs of the participants. And I mentioned some of the areas of focus. The budget writing is always an important part. Evaluation, how do you develop an evaluation plan? How do you carry it out? How do you assess a community? How do you find out the baseline of where you are, and how do you write that in a clear and concise manner? And then how do you find funding sources that match your needs or desires?
I'm doing a work thing.
Oh,
Yeah. Go eat your food, son.
If you can mute your line, and we know.
there you go.
Yes, life is happening in the meantime.
Absolutely, absolutely. And finally, this is a free training workshop. I've looked through, we get advertisements for grant writing training all the time, and upwards of $400, $500 for training. This training is free. There are scholarships available, and so you do get protected time from your organization and then you have the resources to carry out what you desire to do. So I'll stop there and look forward to having you participate further.
Thank you so much, Gail. And just as a post intro, Gail is an instructor at Morehouse School of Medicine, and specifically related to the Georgia CTSA Community Engagement Function. She is involved in, and has been for many years, not just health education, but the promotion and elevation of community health workers in the state of Georgia and nationally. And so when we think about the important members of teams that are non-clinicians or academics that are critical to reaching, engaging, and translating, community health workers certainly are among those. So she's very involved in a lot of the training and technical assistance and capacity building for the CTSA-CE. So next will be another member of our team, Dr. Tandika King-Gordon. She's the program director representing Morehouse School of Medicine with the CTSA and the CE program. So Dr. King-Gordon, if you can walk us through what people need to know, and you all keep the chat going. This is where you probably will hear a lot or have questions about a lot. So we'll make sure to monitor the chat.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Akintobi, and welcome to those participants on the call. So we invite you to this opportunity. The purpose of this opportunity, we're soliciting applications to support community-based organizations seeking to learn how to develop grant proposal to fund research or other health initiatives to address community health priorities. I'm not going to read through everything, but please pay attention to the goals and what we're looking for in terms of this area in your development. What we do want to pay attention to, we'll go down to the eligibility criteria, and then we will move on to the dates, which are really, really important. And so Melissa has highlighted that, as you can see, on the eligibility criteria to qualify for a community-based program, you must have a yearly operating budget. This is it's just up to. So don't get alarmed by the 300,000. You are not expected to have a budget of 300,000, but at least to share in your application what your budget will be or what you are doing. Or some of you may not have a budget at all, and that's okay too. But we had to put that in there. A CBO must be a 501c3, nonprofit or for-profit, and an LLC. So what this means is by the time of applying for this opportunity, you must at least have a 501c3. So today, you will not need to have it to be a part of this call, but this would be part of the criteria as we review information in your packets as we look at applications. And of course, identify two participants to attend the Grant Writing Academy. One will serve as the lead or your contact. CBO must support the fully participation of its staff to attend the Grant Writing Academy program. And the CBO can be based in any part of Georgia, and we strongly encourage applicants, of course, from outside of the metropolitan area. So again, we're going to open questions later on for this. What we will have, if you pay attention to the timeline, I'll skip down a little bit. Of course, we said we will have the call today, and so we must receive all applications by September 30th, 2020. So what we're going to do is give the team agreed that we're not going to cut it off at 5, because we know at 5 we're happening. So we would at least say until 11:59, and I think it says that at the top of the RFA announcement. So on the 30th of September, all applications are due by 11:59 p.m. on that day. Awardees would be notified on November 30th, so that's about a month later. We will then have a kickoff meeting on January 22nd. The time is there, and of course, if you are awarded or invited to this opportunity, of course, you will receive further information. And then we will have 2 sessions where we would have the Grant Writing Academy. There you can see February 11th and 12th, and April 29th and the 30th. And the June 30th is when our grant ends. And so that's normally our date for that. So, but please pay attention to the dates of submission, the dates of being awarded, and next steps to come forward. We have shared, Melissa has shared the link in the chat for the website of itself, but we will share this again if it is requested, if you need to look at this document again. I know many of you may be seeing it for the first time if you've joined and not saw the invite from someone else. We will be happy to share that in this chat as well. And so we look forward to questions at the end of the presentation. Thank you.
So please make sure that you include your questions in the chat. This is the meat of what you will be responding to if you're applying. So we want to make sure that your comments or your questions are answered. So after Dr. Ali Berg talks a bit about what the review process will look like, then we're going to open it up for questions that you can submit via chat, or you can unmute yourself and we'll take questions live as well. So Dr. Ali Berg is a part of the UGA team that is a part of the community engagement function. Remember, Emory, Morehouse, Georgia Tech, and UGA. And so she has been a member of the CE since, I think, December of 2019 or January of no, it was early because you were part of the forum 2 years ago. Time moves very, very quickly. So it's been a while now. We've been pleased to have her, and she's actually been a part of 2 of the reviews, both of related